Thanks to my friends over at G Fuel, right now all the way until the 27th, my G Fuel code Immortal is going to be boosted to a 30% discount. So right now is easily the best time to try out a new flavor, restock your favorite tub, or even try out G Fuel for the very first time. That 30% discount ends up saving you quite a bit, but it is only active for a few more days, so be sure to take advantage of it while it lasts. And now on to the regular video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Modern Warfare multiplayer 2v2 alpha is here. It actually went live a little earlier than anticipated, as about 1 p.m. Pacific time yesterday, the servers ended up going live and we could actually jump on and play almost an entire day earlier than what we were expecting. So rather than going into this video with about 2 to 3 hours of playtime, I actually have about 6 or 7 hours on the game so far, and I can say without a doubt, this game is very, very different. This game is not like Black Ops 4 whatsoever, and even comparing it to older Infinity Ward titles like Ghosts or Modern Warfare, the game still feels pretty unique in and of itself. From the way the weapons behave, to the movement mechanics, and everything else in between, Modern Warfare feels like something we really haven't seen before. And with that, tactics and various things you have used in previous Call of Duties are not necessarily going to work the exact same way this time around. So today we are jumping into the world of Modern Warfare and taking a look at the best settings you can use to have a better overall experience in-game. But before we jump into all of that, if you are new here and you are looking to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on. That way you'll always know when a new video goes live. And of course, if you guys do enjoy this one, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And now let's get into the best settings to use in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So like I said, this game is very different. And even though we are only in an alpha stage at this point, this game actually has a ton of settings and options you can tweak and fine-tune. So we are going to be jumping back and forth a lot between various settings screens and actual gameplay all throughout the video, just to give you guys the clearest breakdown I can, especially for those of you on Xbox or PC that are looking for certain settings when the game drops for you, either in September with the beta, or perhaps maybe during a surprise 2v2 alpha specifically for you guys. Regardless though, first off in the controller tab, this is where you will end up finding a lot of the settings that are based around personal preference. However, there is also a lot of other very significant features you can adjust here too. The first thing you see is your control settings, and this consists of button layouts and sensitivities and other things of that nature. Now personally, I go for the tactical button layout in every Call of Duty because I do use a SCUF controller, so I actually have some paddles on the back that I can press for various things, including melee. And this makes it so that my right thumbstick actually crouches and prones when I press it in, so if you do have a SCUF controller or any custom controller like that, tactical button layout is definitely the way to go. Now stick layout, personally, I don't change at all. That is a personal preference though, as is the look-in version. For controller vibration, I would recommend turning it off. That way it is a bit easier to focus on your aim rather than having your controller rattle in your hands, but once again, that is more preference based. Sensitivity actually goes all the way up to 20 in this game, which is pretty nuts, but so far I have found that lower sensitivities work best for precise aim, especially since this game is a lot slower than Black Ops 4. In BO4, I think I play on what would be equivalent to like a 10 or 11 sensitivity in this game, and as of right now, I've been rocking a 5.5 for my sense, as the character movement is slowed down a lot, so you don't really need a super high sensitivity to stay on target. Once again though, you don't really have any sensitivity that can be universally deemed as the best. Everybody's sensitivity is going to vary, but 5.5 is what I've found to work best for me. We then move on into the weapon settings, and most of these are actually brand new settings that we have not seen available in the past, at least on console. Depleted ammo weapon switch will automatically swap to your secondary if you do end up running out of ammo in your primary weapon, so that could be helpful in some cases, and I have just left that on, which is the default. We then have weapon mount activation, which is essentially just leaning from Call of Duty Ghosts, and for this one I have also kept it as the default, which requires me to ADS and hold my melee button to activate it, which personally I find perfectly fine. The next setting though I think is a must to be enabled, and that is weapon mount movement exit, which when turned on makes it so that any movement disengages your mount. That way you don't actually end up getting stuck on a wall when someone is shooting at you. We then also have some options for aiming down sights and equipment behavior, which both can be toggled to press instead of hold if you don't feel like holding down your trigger to activate both of those. Now here's where things get really interesting. We actually have multiple aim assist settings, more than we have ever seen before, and those consist of disabled, standard, experimental, and enhanced. Now in Black Ops 4, aim assist was completely obsolete in multiplayer. It affected absolutely nothing there, but instead was more effective in zombies in single player where you do have AI enemies. But in Modern Warfare, I have been told that aim assist does affect multiplayer, and I've also been told it doesn't. So for the sake of simply not knowing, I've gone ahead and selected Enhanced Aim Assist, which gives you the standard aim assist that we are used to seeing, alongside additional near-miss assist, compared to the standard aim assist, which is what we have seen in the past, and also experimental, which gives you the standard aim assist that also takes into account target velocity. Most of this mumbo jumbo, frankly, I don't understand, but enhanced seems to be the best aim assist feature we have, so if it does affect multiplayer, why not have it on, right? Going from standard to enhanced, I didn't really notice a difference, but on the chance it does actually affect the gameplay, I'd rather have it as strong as it could be. Target assist you absolutely want to have enabled because that is the real aim assist in multiplayer, so definitely always have that on. And then finally, steady aim behavior is only applicable on snipers, and it's just how you hold your breath while ADSing, so that's really based around personal preference. Then also under the controller settings, we've got the movement specific settings, and for these settings you can either hold or tap to slide. I would recommend holding, that way you don't mess up your crouch. For sprint cancels reload, I prefer to have that disabled since you can YY cancel in this game, and vehicle camera frankly does not matter since there are no vehicles within this alpha. Moving into the general settings, really the only main settings we care about here are film grain, world motion blur, and also weapon motion blur. All of these things I would recommend turning off. Film grain makes the graphics a little bit more noisy and pixely in some cases, and I think that's better to have it at 0, that way things are a bit clearer, and motion blur makes aiming and spotting enemies much harder, so you will definitely want to turn both of those settings off as well. Then finally we get into the audio settings, which honestly are a bit weird this year. The audio within Modern Warfare is utterly insane, I should say. Firstly, you can literally hear things like empty casings hitting the ground in some cases, and overall the game seriously sounds amazing. However, footsteps I have noticed are either really hard to hear or really hard to interpret. Vertical audio is a bit wonky, it seems, in my own opinion, and sometimes I'll have an enemy sprinting literally right next to me and I don't hear anything, whereas other times I'll hear them splashing through the water across the way just fine. So footstep audio seems to be a hit or a miss, but with that, the audio mixes are going to change how you can potentially hear footsteps and other audio information in-game. I believe the standard audio setting is flat, which didn't really seem to amplify much at all. Infinity Ward Mix also didn't really seem to do much more for me, and where I really started to notice some major changes was in the headphone settings. Now I use Astro A40s, which are about as good as you can get when it comes to headsets, and after testing out setting after setting after setting, I found that Headphones 1 seems to highlight footstep audio and other various audio cues of that nature the absolute best. Now this may vary from headset to headset, but for me personally, Headphones 1 was the best for interpreting audio information. Aside from that though, the only other audio setting you really need to focus on is making sure the effects volume is all the way up, or at least louder than music and dialogue, if you do want to be able to hear everything a bit clearer in-game in general. Now those are all of the various options that are currently available in the Modern Warfare Alpha right now, but we may end up seeing even more options come to the beta and eventually the full release, so maybe later on down the road we'll end up revisiting this video and making some adjustments where they are needed. But for now, those are effectively the best settings to use here in Modern Warfare, and with that being said, that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are brand new here to the channel and you do want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, ranging from news to leaks to rumors and everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As I mentioned earlier, Code Immortal is currently boosted to a 30% discount on all G Fuel products, so if you do want to snag a new flavor, a new shaker cup, or anything else from the site, be sure to use Code Immortal at checkout to get that larger discount. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.